that the Declaration of Independence, which was officially accepted by the Continental Congress on July the 4th of 1776 in Philadelphia, and which became the birth certificate of the United States. And I always, when my classes at Fayetteville State University, I always had difficulty with students understanding history for this reason. They looked at American history as a spectator sport. They looked at it, they read about it, but they thought someone else did all that. And I have to explain to them, your family did all of that. Your family was in the Revolution. Your family was involved in a great many things. You have to know your history. It was always a way to get students more engaged with history. They thought they had a connection. They were much more interested in doing well in that class. So I would urge you, the vast majority of you in here have family who fought in the American Revolution. You have people who took part, maybe even the writing of the Declaration. You may not know it, but you have it. Your family took part in the making of America as same as George Washington or Thomas Jefferson. Maybe not the same level, but you were there. Without you, they could not have made it themselves. So I urge you to take a look, to renew your interest in American history, to renew your also to renew your research, to see who you are. You'll be surprised at the people you'll find in your background. My fourth great-grandfather fought in the American Revolution from the state of Maine, though it was Massachusetts then. I had another ancestor from the state of Virginia who fought in the Revolution. So one person told me, he said, your family can't get along with anybody. One fights here, one fights over there. But I urge you to take a look at that. The women can look at the daughters of the American Revolution, and men can look at the sons of the American Revolution. I would urge you to review that after today. You'll be surprised who your relatives may be. Now, the Declaration of Independence, which was adopted 250 years ago, let's take a look at the background of that declaration just for a little bit. I have so much more I could say, but I don't think Kathy will let me say it. So I will try to hit the high points. The Declaration of Independence was a last resort for the colonies. They didn't hurriedly run into this and say, let's write a declaration and get out of here. It was a long process. It was a difficult process. And keep in mind, not everybody in America wanted independence. We tend to think we're all for independence, let's go for it. We were not. It was a divided nation. It was divided as which way we should go. John Adams was asked, how would you divide America in terms of support, no support, or whatever for this revolutionary idea? What would you think? And Adams said, I look at it this way. 1/3 support the revolution. 1/3 support independence. 1/3 supports the king, a loyalist. And said 1/3 doesn't care one way or the other. So if you accept John Adams' ideas, his division, that shows you that 2/3 supported England or didn't care. If his numbers are correct, only 1/3 supported the revolution. I think it's a little higher than that, but that's how Adams divided it up when he was asked that question. 1/3 each. Loyalists, patriots, and I don't care. Prior to 1763, the American colonies were pretty much left alone. They were not bothered too much from the Crown. The Crown left them alone. They went their merry way most of the time. But things changed in 1763. In 1763, the French and Indian War was over. Many of my students think it was the French fighting the Indians. It was not. The French and Indians were fighting the British and the American colonists. The American colonists and the British were on one side, the French and Indians. It was a long process of what that was about, but I won't get into that. They were fighting for territory in North America. So the British and their allies, the Americans, were fighting the other two. Just one thing, I'll throw a little tidbit here. Did you know that England and the United States will not be on the same side again until 1917? 1763, French Indian War, they're together. They won't be together again until 1917, World War I. That's the next time the Americans and the British are allies. When that war was over, England had gained a tremendous empire. Tremendous. Gained most of Canada, gained territory in what is now Louisiana, Mississippi. England just racked up. Gained India, parts of Africa. They got it all. After England had done all this, they had to send troops out to all these places. They had to set up local governments in all these places. So they asked the colonists, can you pay a little bit to help us with this administration? Can you come through with a few British pounds? And the colonists were very straight up. No, we're not paying anything. We're not going to pay it. So the British said, well, you've got to pay something. We can't carry the load over here in England. We can't carry it. The Americans said, well, they're still British subjects. They said, no, we think if we're going to pay taxes, we should vote on them ourselves, not listen to what Parliament says. They're the ones that are throwing the taxes. Why can't we do our own taxes? So with that, the British started squeezing the Americans a little bit more, a little bit more. We want you to chip in to make this work. We have a lot of expenses now since we won this French Indian War and took all this land from France. We want you to pay. So England starts to levy all kinds of taxes. The Sugar Act, the Molasses Act, the Stamp Act. You name an act, they were taxing the Americans. But you know the taxes were fairly small. And the Americans were upset with the taxes because they were smuggling a good bit. And the British were trying to cut in on their smuggling. And a lot of people were losing money, like our friend John Hancock, the biggest smuggler in America. John Hancock was making a load of money smuggling items in and selling and undercutting British goods. So we had this problem developing. Here's something else we may not think about. Prior to this, the Americans thought of themselves as British subjects living in America. British subjects in America. But after this war, they thought of themselves as Americans living in America. It changed drastically. We were British citizens, but we live in America. Now we're Americans, not British anymore. Have you ever wondered if our colonial ancestors spoke with a British accent? Did George Washington speak with a British accent? Did Thomas Jefferson? James Madison? I've often wondered if they spoke with a British accent. I don't guess we'll ever know for sure, but I just wondered, since they were so involved with the British, the English culture, English language, that they themselves sounded the same. And the colonists started to reject some of these things. There was the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre. Only 5 people were killed, but they called it a massacre. But if you're one of those 5, I guess it is a massacre. If you're one of the 5. They called it a massacre. It was good public relations to make it look really bad out there. And it worked. It helped a lot, calling it a massacre. The Boston Tea Party, which hundreds of thousands of dollars of tea destroyed by the Americans. There had been discussions about independence as things got hotter and hotter. You know, after the Boston Tea Party, England passed a series of acts to close down the Boston Harbor and strangle Massachusetts to death. And it was working. They passed a series of acts called the coercive acts to coerce them to pay back what they took when they destroyed it. The Americans called it the intolerable acts, while the English called it coercive. By the Second Continental Congress, things weren't looking very good at all. Second Continental Congress met in 1776 to discuss what we're going to do with this mess that we're in. with the British. They sent an olive branch petition to King George saying, King George, do something, help us, Parliament's mean to us. But you know what's interesting? Just a few months before, they sent a petition to Parliament saying the King's mean to us. So now they just flipped. Now the King's our hero. So they asked the King to intervene, George III, the longest reigning king in English history. From 1760 to 1820, George III. George refused to look at the petition and did not respond, which that was the final straw. He would not respond to their concerns. You know, they'd already fought at Lexington and Concord the year before. Here's a year and a half later, they still haven't decided what to do. Richard Henry Lee of Virginia proposed that the colonies ought to be free and independent of Britain. So he proposes before the Continental Congress on June the 11th that we have a resolution of independence. A committee was set up of 5 men to write a resolution. One was Ben Franklin, one was Robert Livingston, one was Robert Livingston and Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. They met in extremely hot weather like it is today in Philadelphia. There was some yellow fever going on there too. It was a deadly place to be. Super hot. They met in this upper room, small room, and they were to write this declaration from June 11th to July 2nd. Jefferson was 33 years old, had been suffering a migraine for a month when he showed up in Philadelphia. He had been sick for a month. And John Adams says, you write the declaration. Well, Jefferson wasn't in the best shape to write a declaration, but he took it upon himself. Adams said, you need to do it for 2-3 reasons. 1, you write well. 2, you have a good reputation. 3, somebody from Virginia ought to write it. Don't know exactly why that was thrown in there, but it has to be a Virginian. And I guess down deep, Adams was thinking, and I don't want to do it. I think that was down deep. He didn't want to do it either. So Jefferson starts writing it from June 11th to July 2nd. He writes a very detailed Declaration of Independence. He starts out with those words, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to another. And that's what we're saying. We've got these political bands connecting us, they need to go. And he writes this declaration using, Jefferson is influenced by writers like John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, Diderot, Montesquieu, Voltaire. These are some of the great thinkers of the time, the great Enlightenment that was sweeping Europe. In fact, when Jefferson was asked about his declaration, he says it was pure Locke, L-O-C-K-E. John Locke, the philosopher. He said pure Locke, not luck. You know what's interesting? Jefferson presented this to the Congress on July 2nd. He said, here it is, it's finished. In it, he writes the reasons we need independence. He writes a long list of all the mean things King George has done. It's the longest list. And one of those he puts in there, you have allowed slavery to be brought into this country unimpeded. You have not stopped the influx of slavery. It's amazing and quite contradictory that Jefferson writes this, and he has 600 slaves. The most of any founding father. The most. And he writes attacking slavery. Jefferson once said about slavery, he says, like holding a wolf by the ears. You want to let him go, but you're afraid what's going to happen when you do. That's what he referred to slavery, like holding a wolf by the ears. The Declaration, by the way, the South would not accept this with the slavery. Jefferson had to scratch it out. The southern states said, we're out of here if you go put that in there, we're gone. So they were able to take that out and the South stayed. It was revised on July the 3rd and adopted by the Congress on July the 4th. saying that we should be free, that we should have a government based on consent of the governed, and that we do not support the divine right of kings. You know what that is? Where the kings think they are to rule because God gave it to them. So to attack the king is to attack God, divine right of kings. That was the prevalent idea at the time. When it was adopted, this is what John Adams said to his wife in a letter after the adoption of the Declaration on July 4th. By the way, it was never signed on the 4th. You see this picture of all these people standing by the tables, an old picture showing Jefferson, they're all pointing at the Declaration. That never happened. That's a nice picture, but it's not factual. Adams said this to his wife. He says, quote, "I am to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance, by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, shows and games, and sports and guns and bells and bonfires and illuminations from one end of the continent to the other, from this time forward, forevermore." End of quote. I think we do pretty much that now, don't we? I think John Adams would be happy with what it looks today. That was his suggestion 250 years ago. The Declaration wasn't really signed by most of them on August 2nd. They had to have time to print it and do lots of different things. And so they did not sign it all on the 4th. There might have been a few stragglers. Most of them did not. It was passed on to be imprinted. And then they signed it. One person did sign for 5 years later. John McLean, he didn't show up for 5 years to sign it. And many of them weren't even there on July 4th. They'd already gone home. So it was not signed on the 4th. Even though that is the day we celebrate as the birth of America. The first person to sign was John Hancock, and he signed extremely large because he was president of the convention. And you know what he said? He said, "I'm going to sign this so big that George III won't need his specs to read it." And that's true if you ever see the signature of John Hancock. It is the largest. The others, did you realize there was rhyme and reason how they signed it? I think you probably never heard this. They signed it by delegates from the south to the north. They started with Georgia and went up the coast all the way to New Hampshire. They signed it that way. It wasn't haphazard. Who gets in line first? It was based on your state. And the man who signed it from Georgia, the first one, other than Hancock, was Button Gwinnett. You ever heard of Button? Well, let me tell you, if you found Button's autograph, you're a wealthy person. Extremely rare. It goes for at least $250,000 because he rarely signed anything. If you go to Georgia, 2 towns claim to have his body. I don't know where he actually buried. 2 towns say he's there in your town. Gwinnett County, Georgia, named after him. When it's all said and done, we will find that the Declaration of Independence is not just a document for that time. It has been followed throughout the years. Remember Lincoln's famous speech at Gettysburg in 1862. You know what Lincoln said? He says, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. That's who he's referring to, the Declaration where it says all men are created equal. Were they all equal? Everybody at that convention was white, male, wealthy, and educated. No blacks, no women, no poor people, all excluded. So you say, well, how can, even though it calls for created equal, were we? Well, think of the Declaration. It's a living document. We've worked towards adding women, Black Americans, minorities. You don't have to be rich to be involved now. We changed all that over the years. The Declaration has been elastic, it has stretched, it has encompassed those people. The Declaration wasn't a final product. It wasn't a final product. It was a living product where we keep making the changes along the way. People like Martin Luther King talked about it at his speech in Washington. He mentioned the Declaration and how it expands today to bring everyone in, or trying to bring everyone in. Democracy is not a finished product. Democracy is a goal. And the more democracy you get, the better. The French Revolution, by the way, was copied after the American Revolution. They have what's called the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, almost a carbon copy of the Declaration of Independence. This is the first type of declaration in world history, folks. It's not talking about this is the first time in 100 years or 1,000 years, first time ever. This whole experiment of America was the first time ever. We see it no other place and any other time. So, I'll leave you with those thoughts, and also I pray that God bless America now and in the future.
I can gather today and honor our nation without fear of interference of government or an offshore enemy is because someone fought for and won our freedom. Someone was willing to die to preserve this right. Such was the setting when Francis Scott Key began to pen the words to our national anthem. As he viewed the valiant and fearless effort of the men who fought and died that day, he was in awe of the flag that stubbornly continued to wave, representing America's resolve for freedom. Old Glory, long may you wave. In November of 1863, as Danny has already mentioned, in the midst of a terrible civil war, and 4 months after the Battle of Gettysburg, Abraham Lincoln spoke at a dedication of a national cemetery and said these words: "We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth."
To see
After Johnny came marching home, America faced a new challenge: industrialization. Railroads and factories needed coal to forge a new nation. Here, in West Virginia, in Fayette County, immigrants came from all over the world to make a new life. They came from Italy and Poland and Russia, blacks from the South, all working side by side underground. And as coal developed, so did labor unrest. In 1921, West Virginia miners marched to Blair Mountain and fought for justice against U.S. soldiers. And after Blair Mountain, some were indicted for treason. And then Bill Blizzard, the leader of the march, was indicted for murder. And that trial moved throughout the nation. And finally, in this very courtroom where you sit today, he was found innocent. The miners Bill Blizzard led came to America, came here to Fayette County for a better life. They were the ones that Emma Lazarus referred to in her famous poem. They were the tired, the poor, the weary, and America offered them the warmth of a new nation.
sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, the Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows a world-wide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore.
All
on many forms, evolving around a country's culture and political climate. Whether it's a military march by Sousa, a folk song by Woody Guthrie, or morale boosters like George M. Cohen and the Gershwin brothers wrote, nothing stirs the emotions of patriotism like music. It's an emotion connector, it's an emotional connector that bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the heart. Music can make abstract concepts like freedom, the nation, or truth become tangible. It can be a communal ritual or a historical preservation. Songs like the Battle Hymn of the Republic or our national anthem stirs us to stand together and sing while binding us to conflicts and milestones of history lessons. Parades, the waving of flags, the drums and the fife, all these sounds make our hearts swell with pride.
Tramping of feet, I love every beat. I hear a
free is an awesome responsibility. And that is why we salute all the men and women who selflessly answered the call of duty to their country. They are the real stars. Their courage, sacrifice, and ultimate dedication are the true pillars of our freedom, and we owe them a debt of gratitude that can never be paid. I would like to take a moment and ask for all of you who have served your country in the American military to please stand so we can acknowledge you. Served and protected to ensure our rights and our liberties, and gave us the greatest gift of our freedom. absolutely that gives everything its value. Heaven knows how to put a price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article such as freedom should not be highly rated. Americans, may we never forfeit our passions for freedom or lose the vision that God shed his grace on thee.